Talk about power of the vote. Last night, Diddy was having a chat with Naomi Campbell, and he caused quite a stir when he said this.
The black vote is not going to be for free. We're going to have to see some promises. You know, what are we getting in return for our vote? Nothing has changed for Black America. And in order for us to vote for Biden, we can't be taken for granted like we always are because we're supposed to be Democrats or because people are afraid of Trump. It's whoever's going to take care of our community, whoever wants to make a deal. It's business at this point. You know, we can't trust politicians, you know, so we want to know very clearly, just like Trump made it clear that he wanted to build a wall, Biden needs to make it clear that he's going to change the lives and quality of life of Black and brown people, or else he can't get the vote. I will hold the vote hostage if I have to.
You said it here, said it first.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
All right, let's unpack that. First of all, that did not sit well with some people. Here were some of the comments that folks made. Kenny Burns, who is a promoter, he was an influencer. He said, Puff put this statement, Puff, this statement is very irresponsible at this point. The only option is to get Trump out of office. Come on, champ, encouraging people to stand by is not an option. Vote or die. Then he said, that's what he posted on Diddy's page. Then he posted on his page, you erased my truth. Wow, Diddy, you erased my truthful comment and keep the vote for Trump comments on your page. Then you block me, LOL. And you're really going to wait till it's two candidates to say that you're holding our vote? Come on, champ, this is not leadership. Where were you during the primaries? What happened to vote or die? Trump being put out of office is the only option, period. Isaac Hayes III dropped this video. First of all, I'm going to go to the Jamie Foxx comment. This is what Jamie Foxx said on Diddy's page. Pull that up. Okay, you don't have it. All right, so let's do this here. Play the Isaac Hayes III comment, then I'm going to read for you the Diddy comment. We don't have the Isaac Hayes comment. All right, I don't know why we don't have those two things. Let me just do this here, fine. Let me find Diddy comment here. And it was interesting, again, on all this back and forth that was going on. Let's see here. Right here, here's the comment. Here we go. All right, Jamie Foxx comment at the top of the page right here. So I'm gonna take a picture of that, then I'm gonna blow it up for you. All right, folks. Okay, so here we go. So here's what Jamie Foxx had to say on Diddy's page. Go to my iPad, please. Vote Democrat. The amount of pressure that we put on our candidates are too much. There is no way that anyone can live up to what we think should be a candidate because we want perfection. What I suggest is if we really want to change course, it's about getting behind the values, not the person. The other side won because they wanted legislation. Supreme Court justices, etc. Look at the criteria the other candidate had that was Republican. The guy said grab them by the you-know-what and got 97% of the evangelical vote. That's what Jamie Foxx said in response there to Diddy's comments. One of the other interesting videos that I saw, as I said, was by Isaac Hayes III, and he spoke about this very issue, offering up what he said is just his opinion. So go to my iPad, please.
About how his vote or our vote will be held up for hostage against Joe Biden if there's not something for black people in it to vote for him. I first want to say that I disagree with Diddy. I also implore everyone that heard what he said to disregard his message. And that's just my position on it. I have nothing personally against Diddy. Sean Diddy Combs, we've met a couple times. I I have nothing against you. I do think your post was arrogant in the fact that you felt you spoke for all black people, including myself, and said that from the whitest town and the wealthiest town in America, Hollywood. You can't have it both ways. You can't live in Hollywood and then also simultaneously represent black people. I just don't think that that's hypocritical at minimum. You are a genius entrepreneur and entertainer. But to use your platform at this juncture in the crisis that we're in is irresponsible, it was thoughtless, and it was unnecessary. I definitely believe that a black agenda is necessary. I want to say that. Most importantly, black people have a right to have their demands met, but it's how we go about it that is the worst execution that will never, ever, ever happen. First of all, we as black people need representation. Everybody understands business. If you have to sue somebody, do you walk in a courtroom by yourself or a group of y'all go in a courtroom without an attorney? No. You hire an attorney to articulate exactly what you want in the form of a demand and argue that legally to a positive result. That is what implementing a black agenda is. And politicians are the best way to do that. Not the politician that you want to make change, but the politician that you want to influence change. In Atlanta, Georgia, from the civil rights movement up till now, black people have not asked white people for anything. We realize that a bunch of us live around each other, and if we simply get up out of our houses and go vote, that the representative that we choose, who best suits our interest, we can put in power and change the laws for ourselves.
All right, folks, you can go to, of course, Isaac's page to see the rest of that comment. All right, so I got my panel here. Can't wait to hear what y'all got to say about what Diddy's comment is. So let's start with Cleo.
Well, if I heard Diddy correctly, and there was a lot of nuance to what he was saying, he's saying that the Democratic Party, he's saying a few things. He's saying that the Democratic Party has taken the black vote. Well, let me preface my comments with this first. People going, I don't support Trump. I will not be voting for Trump. I will be voting against Trump. So let me make my position clear because people are going to be reading the stuff when I say what I'm getting ready to say. The Democratic Party for decades have taken the black vote for granted. Black people are consciously or unconsciously analyzing what happened during the Trump years, and not a whole bunch happened for black folks. There are black men like Diddy who have an infatuation with Trump because he appears to have more courage and balls than Obama. And ironically, they're infatuated with his straight upness as opposed to, for example, when Obama was called a liar during that congressional speech, he didn't say nothing. And we can go on and on with some of the things that have some black people, particularly males, looking at Obama as not particularly strong. I don't support Trump. I don't think he's strong. I think he's nuts. But I do understand how people are interpreting him as a so-called strong leader, even though he's dysfunctional and a liar. People like Diddy, there's a lot of brothers who are thinking like him, who are saying both of them have good points, both of them has bad points. They have to prove something to me. That's a real perspective. And I also understand the perspective of get Trump out no matter what. But what people need to understand is that everybody has that perspective because not everybody believes that what the Democrats has done in concrete terms has been particularly beneficial to black people, have protected black people from police brutality, have protected black people from the wrath of the white supremacist agenda of this country. And they don't feel like they've been defended, protected, or even spoken to in demonstrative ways by the likes of Obama and other Democrats. So people like Kanye and like Diddy are not looking at Biden and Trump as the devil and the angel. Look at them as people who have devil qualities and both who have angel qualities, and if they don't, and if Biden, who's supposedly the blackest of the two because of the Obama Association, does not demonstratively show and articulate things he's going to do for black people that he's going to be able to be convincing about, a lot of black people, particularly males, are not going to vote for him.
Oh, Scott,
They're
listen.
gonna-
So Scott,
they're gonna
listen.
vote for Trump.
So Scott, so hold, one second. Hold on. Wait. Scott, wait. So, take into account, Scott, what Cleo just said. One, do you believe it is true that Democrats have taken black voters for granted, have not done anything for black voters? And what do you have to say about, again, Diddy saying, hold the vote hostage? Go.
Well, first of all, of course, the Democrats have taken our vote for granted over the years because black people don't have any leverage. We don't have anybody to leverage against the Republicans but to vote for Democrats. Republicans don't have anything to offer black people other than these pro-business black people who don't care about the race question, where racism is #1 top 5 issue for people of color. Republicans aren't for voting rights. They're not abortion rights. They're not for civil rights or human rights. The Democrats are, but they take us for granted because we don't have anywhere else to go. What's Diddy going to do? You're going to hold it hostage? You need another Democrat in the race against Biden to have to leverage that type of policy or hostage taking. So now you're going to hold the vote hostage against Biden. We're going to vote for Trump. We've seen what that looks for. So it's not smart to say that with your following. What's smart is that we need to negotiate what we want and what our resources and negotiate commitments with Biden because he's going to be the nominee. And compared to Donald Trump, there is no comparison. We have got to vote. And Diddy, if you want to hold your vote hostage and don't vote, you're contributing to the vote for Donald Trump, whether you pull the lever or not. It's just that simple. This isn't even hard. And so we need to stop trying to leverage something that we don't have. We got to vote Democrat because the #1 priority, our political enemy is Donald Trump. It's no time for this leverage discussion. After the Democrats get in office, let's have that leverage discussion. And right now, let's talk to Biden about how the congressman from South Carolina, the majority leader, saved the Democratic Party, saved Biden's nomination, and we need to be negotiating with him right now, not about not voting for him, but about what we're entitled to, what we want, and how he's going to change urban America and the life of black folks. Better, bigger, and brighter, even under Barack Obama. How's he going to do it better? We negotiate that now, but we don't say we're not going to vote for you because that'll bring on deaf ears.
Eugene.
I don't think he said he was not.
One second. Hold on, Cleo and Scott, hold on. Cleo and Scott, hold on. Eugene.
All right, I got 3 quick points. All right. The first is this. This is extremely ill-timed and irresponsible on Diddy. I mean, extremely ill-timed and irresponsible. If he wanted to take this stance, he should have took it a year ago when there was an active Democratic primary. And he could have maybe even played kingmaker within the primary. I mean, he has the cash, he has the influence. He could have leveraged both to a candidate that he liked or supported. That's the first thing. The second thing is this, all right? We got to look at what's going on with Diddy over the last couple of weeks for what it is. He's fetishizing and bastardizing this space. Revolt's hurting for content. Most of the entertainment industries are shut down right now. So what does he jump to? News, because, in his eyes, it's easy to produce, right? And so what is he doing? He's now taking a stance that, one, will hurt black people in this particular time, but two, it's just to grab headlines and clickbait to maybe drive attention to, whatever, show that black news show he's trying to develop. We always welcome more, black media, but this isn't the way to do it. You don't fetishize and take advantage of this particular space that's being curated, because it's not as if, they're grabbing voices that are actually knowledgeable on the issues that they want to cover. They're grabbing celebrities to come talk about this stuff, this shit that they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So that's the second part about it. The third thing is this, all right? If Sean P. Diddy Combs really wants to have influence and effect within this space, this is what he needs to do. First and foremost, you're wealthy, all right? Do what white wealthy people do if you want to play the same game. Gather some other wealthy folk and throw cash behind candidates. It doesn't have to start with Joe Biden. It can start with black Senate candidates. It can start with black House candidates. It can start with black candidates at the state level or at the state house level. But if you want to actually have an effect on policy and want to hold vote hostage, you need to make sure it comes with dollars to empower candidates that have the ideology or push the policy platforms that you want to support. Secondly, in my eyes, it looks like it's just a play for Diddy to get it to sit down with Joe Biden. But even if that is the case, all right, if that is the case, you need to be organizing black hip hop that have dollars to throw cash around. I mean, the game is very, very simple, and the way he's going about it is very, very trash.
Okay, so here, one second. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do another round of the three of you, and then I'm going to weigh in. I'm gonna go Cleo, Scott, Eugene. Cleo, go.
I interpreted Diddy's comments as him not saying simply that he was going to hold his vote hostage, was that he was going to make a decision and that he was going to vote. He's saying that, from my perspective, that neither Biden or Trump has his vote right now. And I think that's bothering people who are scorched earth. Let's get rid of Trump, period. Let's not think. Let's not critically analyze. Let's not do any of the things that might come from talking about hostage. Let's just make a decision and get rid of Trump. And I think that's problematic because not everybody is clear on what to do because of the Democratic Party's history of not really being powerful on behalf of black people and demonstratively supportive of black people or having a larger list of success stories for black people based on their administration. And that's real. I said on your show a long time ago, Roland, that it's not going to be good enough to just be a Democrat. And it's not going to be good enough to just be against, for some black people, to be against Trump. Whoever is going to get this Democratic support from black people, people like it. And I'm also don't believe in, and I'm not going to get caught up in this, he's rich and he's poor. He's black. And I know some people who don't got no money who have a very similar perspective as P. Diddy in terms of the fact that they're not convinced of who to vote for or not. And the hate Trump movement, which I'm a part of, by the way, but the hate Trump movement is not enough because the Democratic solution has not been helpful to black people in demonstrative ways for many decades, and they see the Democratic Party, as P. Diddy said, has taken black people for granted. And if they keep taking black people for granted and not doing things that speak to black people, we're going to be in this conundrum.
All right,
but
Scott.
They certainly take the Democrats certainly take black people for granted, but the Democrats support more of our issues than the Republicans. There can be no political purity test, just like there can be no racial purity test with presidential candidates or any candidates at the federal or state level. We want someone who's going to support us, want to improve the quality of lives of our communities of color, and you take your chance with any of your vote, but your vote is still powerful. P. Diddy, you need leverage. And so I'd like to see P. Diddy, I'd like to see all of these hip-hop entertainers, we talked about some last week, and put not just their money where their mouth is, but if you really want to make change in this country politically, not only invest your dollars, but register voters, and more importantly, invest in taking people to the polls all around this country, because that's the answer. If you just register to vote, you can't guarantee that the people you register are going to vote on election day. I'd like to see a group of us get together and invest in taking people to the polls to ensure that our vote is made and our vote counts. And there is no alternative but Biden right now. And any talk of it is going to fall on political deaf ears of both the Republicans and the Democrats. And if you don't vote, that's a vote for Trump. And that's not changing, Roland. That's not going to change between now and November. So that's just a plain political and social reality.
Eugene.
You know how idiotic this is? I'm going to tell you how idiotic this is. Joe Biden has had a plan for black people since he launched. All right? It's on his website. Everybody says, oh, Biden has a plan for black people. You literally just need to go look it up. And Diddy employs thousands of people, and any of them could literally just went to Joe Biden's website and said, oh, shit, there's Joe Biden's plan. All right? And then this is the other part about it. It's not just his plan. As the election is going along, he's pulled pieces from all the other candidates into his black plan. He's taking pieces from Kamala's plan. He's taking pieces from Elizabeth Warren's plan. He's even now taking pieces from some of the things that Bernie Sanders is throwing out there. He has a black plan. And for P. Diddy and others to come back and say, oh, man, we're not going to do anything until Joe Biden comes and presents his black plan, they look idiotic and dumb because it's right there.
Go read.
Being
Just
in
read.
writing is not enough, Eugene. It has to be articulated.
So
Being in
allow me-
writing is not
It's
enough.
been articulated for a whole year.
It
I
has
buy
been.
it.
Articulated in
Why
20
people are
debates.
bait, man?
I think Eugene. Are Eugene?
That Biden did. He didn't articulate his plan.
All right.
No.
I love
Okay.
black people.
All right. So now my turn. So first of all, I want you to play again what Diddy had to say yesterday. Press play.
The black vote is not going to be for free. We're going to have to see some promises. You know, what are we getting in return for our vote? Nothing has changed for Black America. And in order for us to vote for Biden, we can't be taken for granted like we always are because we're supposed to be Democrats or because people are afraid of Trump. It's whoever's going to take care of our community, whoever wants to make a deal. It's business at this point. You know, we can't trust politicians, you know, so we want to know very clearly, just like Trump made it clear that he wanted to build a wall, Biden needs to make it clear that he's going to change the lives and quality of life of Black and brown people, or else he can't get the vote. I will hold the vote hostage if I have to.
You said it here, said it first.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
So allow me to unpack that. Diddy said, first of all, that what hasn't been done, the lives of African Americans have not been improved. That's demonstrably not true. Problem is, it's some African Americans. If you look at where African Americans were, again, using 1968, 1970 as the marker, and then going forward, there has been some improvement. The reality is this, and this is where I think folks miss the boat here. The reality is this: how Black people have been impacted economically, housing, education, health, cannot and will not be determined by one individual. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. We're talking about a complete infrastructure in this country. President, Congress, judicial, governors, state houses, county, city, school boards, the entire apparatus. So no one person actually impacts that. He is correct that there should be a demand. There should be a very clear demand made by voters. He's right. Evangelicals made it clear what they wanted from Trump. They accepted him and all of his hoeing ways. They accepted him and the porn stars. They accepted all the cheating on the wives because he said, I'm going to appoint right-wing judges who are going to get rid of abortion. We know Donald Trump is actually pro-choice, but he will say whatever he needs to say to get their vote. What you also have here is that part of the problem is you have this fractured leadership. Isaac Hayes III talking about, well, who goes and represents. Well, it's part of the deal. Does the NAACP have an agenda? Yes. Does the Urban League have an agenda? Yes. Do civil rights legal groups have an agenda? Yes. Does the CBC have an agenda? Yes. But then we get to this whole debate, well, they don't represent us, they don't represent us, they don't represent us. So then how in the hell do they get there? So who do they who do they represent? We act as if the NAACP doesn't have 2,000 chapters made up of regular, ordinary people. We act as if the National Urban League don't have branches. They do. We act as if our civil rights organizations really aren't talking to anybody, but they are. And so part of this deal is we have this debate constantly, the black agenda, the black agenda, the black agenda. National Coalition of Black Civic Participation, Black Women's Roundtable, they got an agenda. They got an agenda. Sororities, fraternities, Black BYP 100, Color of Change, they got an agenda. I mean, all these groups have agendas. You have people who are gay, who trans, church, conservative, who are sports, entertainment, media. I can go down all of them have agendas. The question then becomes, to Scott's point, how do you then mobilize and organize after the fact?
Yep.
See, that's the fundamental issue that I believe we keep missing. Let me take you back. I said the exact same thing. You can go back and read Essence Magazine, January 2009, where I wrote that we can't just be excited and think these things are going to happen just because Obama's there. Said it point blank. In fact, if you read my book, The First, President Barack Obama's Road to the White House, as originally reported by Roland Martin, I wrote it in the book. Spike Lee, in my interview with him, says it, that these things are not going to magically happen just because you got a black president. It's what you do also after the fact, which now means, how do you mobilize and organize? One of the fundamental issues that we have, folks, is also, how do we take our resources and then begin to say, move people? So let me just give you an example. Where did Reverend Jackson really derive his power from? When he ran in 1984 and 88 and put 2 million new voters on the rolls.
Mm-hmm.
That is what elected Richard Shelby as a Democrat to the United States Senate in Alabama. Now, he later became a Republican. But if you go back, Richard Shelby was elected as a Democrat in Alabama due to the black vote. If you go back and study, especially 1988, you will discover a number of African Americans who ran for sheriff, city council, county commissioner, state rep, state senate for the first time and won. Because Reverend Jackson put to going out, registering people. Y'all, that's a tangible number. See, saying I have millions of people on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, TikTok, does not actually translate into real power. Real power is when you're able to come to the table and say, if I go give this directive, they will follow.
Right.
Now, there's a real negotiation. After 2016, I had Bob Johnson on my TV One show, and he was talking about how African Americans, how we need to work with Trump. And let me be real clear. Do I think Trump is awful? Absolutely. Do I think he is atrocious? Absolutely. But are we still constituents of the United States of America? You damn right. And so therefore, we still deserve a seat at the table. Fine, we'll bring our own chair. So here's what I actually hope happens. And I go back to that Bob Johnson conversation. When I said, Bob, when are we going to create a black specific fund whose sole job is to register, train, educate our people? Because what we cannot do is continue to have this conversation where we're waiting. This is us right here, okay? What's the candidates gonna do? What's the candidates gonna do? Are the liberal groups, are they going to then put money into our voter registration efforts? No. Here's the deal. Who are the 5 largest black get-out-the-vote entities in the country? I would say, sure, you got the NAACP here. Sure, you have the National Coalition Black Civic Participation. You got Black Voters Matter. You can also talk about DeJuan Thompson's group, Be Woke. And then we could talk about a number of smaller organizations that are in various states. So the thing then becomes, okay, so in order for us to hit a certain number, so what is it? Like what's the number? Like we know this. There are 250,000 eligible but unregistered black people in South Carolina. We know there are about more than 300,000 in Georgia. There are 900,000 eligible but unregistered black people, people in Alabama. 500,000 of them are African American. There are several 100,000 in Mississippi. Then what's the number in Florida? The reason Andrew Gillum is not governor of Florida today is because in the red counties in Florida,
that's right,
the turnout in those counties range from 65 to 75%. If you pull up the chart, it would take you about 13 to 14 counties to get to the first blue county, and the number was 57%. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is, on one hand, you have education, mobilization, organization, registering people. First off, education. Why voting matters. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm saying why voting matters. Then I'm connecting the dots between federal, state, local. Because when somebody comes along and they say, well, local is really the most important thing, forget everything else, that's a lie. Because local is going to ask state for money. State is going to ask federal for money. Local is going to ask federal for money. So you can't say those things are separate and divorced. So now let me deal with it. So now you say, okay, fine. So how do we educate, empower, enlighten? Now I've got that. Now I got to get you registered. Now I've got to get you to the polls, which now means, how do we do it? Who are the people? What are the buses? What are the cars? How are we making it happen? Are we walking people? What's going on? So I'm unpacking all these things. So now the question then becomes, is there a number? Is there a number? And that is, do these black organizations, based upon their budgets, and y'all, I talked to them, they all have budgets. They then say, we need $20 million in order to put 5 million people on the rolls. That's the number. So here's what I hope. I hope, because when Kenny Burns mentioned vote or die, I hope really what the plan is for Diddy is, before you get to the black agenda, is that I create the entity or restart the entity that serves the purpose that says we're going to study the map. We're going to target these 8, 10, 12, 14 states. We might support existing entities, but we're going to fund black specific voter education, voter registration, voter turnout. And when you have the entity, you have the data, which means that you have the name, the phone number. I want y'all to go to the New York Times and read the story they did on Brad Parscale, the campaign manager for Donald Trump, how they're using data to drive. And so now all of a sudden, if you're Diddy's entity and you bring in Killer Mike and you bring in T.I. and you bring in Gabrielle Union, and you bring in Dwayne Wade, and you bring in LeBron James, and you bring in other singers, you bring in other entertainers, you bring in athletes, then you you join with the Black Economic Alliance, the black folks who are partnering there. All of a sudden, then you begin, now all of a sudden you have what is a Black Council. The Black Council then goes, all right, NAACP, this is what y'all are doing. Urban League, this is what y'all are doing. This group, this is what y'all are doing. Now we have on the board what Black America is doing in these different spaces as opposed to operating in silos and I'm competing with you. We don't need 30 Black women's voter initiatives nationally. What we need is a handful where we're now dispersing money and resources to various individuals. Folks, when you do that, then you're able to say, Joe Biden, let me holler at you. Joe, just so you know, we're sitting on a database of 3.7 million people. Joe, in 2016, 2.4%, there was a 2.4% drop in Black voter turnout. Had Hillary Clinton gotten the same number that Obama got in 2012, she would be president. You know you can't win without us. You know that it cost $1,000 to convert a voter that don't like you, meaning a Republican, versus it's cheaper to convert to get somebody who's already more in line with you, and that ranges from $20 to $50 in terms of how you target them with ads, things along those lines. Now all of a sudden, this thing goes beyond a video with Naomi Campbell. It goes beyond a post on Instagram to what is the most important thing, and that is infrastructure. That is how you're able to move. What Lyndon Baines Johnson did not want is for Dr. King to roll up in the White House with 10,000 people outside the gates. The reason Reverend Jackson was so successful when he dealt with companies in the 60s and 70s and 80s, especially with Operation Breadbasket, and if y'all please go read Demi's book on this, they did not want 200 preachers in Chicago taking to their pulpits and announcing that we're not going to buy from this store. You cannot make threats unless you have an organized entity that stands behind you. If you make a threat and there's nobody behind you, they will laugh at you because they know there's no one behind you.
Exactly.
To put it simply, you ever seen somebody walk up to somebody else talking all kind of smack because they think they boys are behind them? And then they say, me and my... Now everything changes because they now realize ain't no backup. What I hope we now focus on is not video that Diddy posted, not the comments of Kenny Burns or Jamie Foxx or the several thousand people who posted. I want to focus on organization, infrastructure. How do we fund it? How do we target our people where we're not waiting on anybody else? Mm-hmm. That is how you then use leverage. Because no politician wants to be in a situation where when they go give a speech, 5,000 or 10,000 people are showing up protesting them. They don't want to have a situation where, like gay folks did, who were in the military, who chained themselves to the fence when Obama was president. Yeah. Do y'all also remember when the DACA folks stormed one of Obama's campaign offices in Ohio and took it over? Y'all remember that? That's how those things happened. 2010, LGBT folks, Obama wasn't sitting here moving on Don't Ask, Don't Tell. They closed their checkbooks. Guess what happened after the slaughter in 2010, the midterms? Obama came out and said, we got to get Don't Ask, Don't Tell passed by Congress. By December, it had been repealed by Congress. So, how do black people use their pocketbooks? Y'all, this is politics. This is how it's done. Now, let's see what happens next, Diddy. Next, Killer Mike. Next, other folks involved. If there is no plan, all this was simply a moment. You want to have leverage, you got to build a movement.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Every single night, we've got some of the top black experts. You're not going to see them on cable news or broadcast news because you swear black people aren't experts when it comes to this health crisis. That's why we have this show and why we do what we do every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Joining us right now is retired General Russell Honore, the nation's first black Surgeon General, Dr. Joycelyn Elders. John Hope Bryant, he is the founder of Operation Hope. Senator Kamala Harris of California, Dr. Sadrina Calder, retired General Lloyd Austin, Congresswoman Karen Bass, Commissioner Omari Hardick, Bureau President in Brooklyn, Eric Adams, Dr. Joseph Graves, America's Wealth Coach, Deborah Owens, Dr. Corey Abear, Patal Salt, Howard University student, Pastor Jamal Bryant, Dr. Christy McDowell, Benja Ajilore, Senior Economist at the Center for American Progress, Gilda Daniels, again, author of the book, The Crisis of Voter Suppression in America. 4 stars, General Kip Ward, Dr. Oliver Brooks, is President of the National Medical Association, President of the American Medical Association, Dr. Patrice Harris, Joby Benjamin, Dr. Alexia Gaffney, Infectious Disease Specialist, Dr. Georges Benjamin, Executive Director of the American Public Health Association, Malcolm Nance, Family Medicine Physician, Dr. Jen Caudle, Dr. Tashaka Cunningham, a molecular biologist, Kat Stafford. She's a national race and ethnicity reporter for the Associated Press. Dr. Wayne A.I. Frederick, who is the president of Howard University, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke from the state of New York, William Spriggs, AFL-CIO economist, Andrea James, executive director of the National Council for Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. All right, let's go to Capitol Hill. Congressman Gregory Meeks, Congresswoman Eddie British Johnson of Texas, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, mental health clinician Jamie Singletary, Prince George's County State's Attorney Aisha Brayboy, as well as Dylan Hayrie, ACLU Justice Division strategist. Dr. Cindy Duke, she's a virologist. Principal Steve Perry of Capitol Prep. Health and wellness specialist Dr. Yolandra Hancock. Desmond Meade, president of the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition. Cliff Albright, who is the co-founder of Black Voters Matter. Michael Harriet with the Root. Mina McWhorter, founder of Love by the Hand. Dr. Julianne Malvo, economist, president, Emerita Bennett College. Coroner Michael Fowler is a mayor of Atlanta. Keisha Lance Bottoms, mental health therapist Suzette Clark. Justin Gibney, attorney and political strategist, and Bishop Vincent Matthews Jr. Dr. Suzette McKinney, CEO and executive director of the Illinois Medical District. Dr. Leon Madugal, president-elect of the National Medical Association. Jana Bailey, mayor of Moss Point, Mississippi. Mario King. We're going to keep driving this thing to make sure our people are fully aware, safe, protected from coronavirus. You're getting the top medical experts, the top business experts, top political experts, top religious experts, because that's why we do what we do. unapologetically and unfiltered. Ain't nobody else in the black media space doing what we do. Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.
Hey everybody, this is your man Fred Hammond, and you're watching Roland Martin, my man, Unfiltered.
Hi, this is Essence Atkins, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Hey yo, Peace World, what's going on? It's the Love King of R&B, Raheem Devon, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Hi, my name is Brescia Webb, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Ow. Well, I like a nice filter usually, but we can be unfiltered.
What's going on? This is Tobias Trevelyan, and if you're ready, you are listening to and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
What's up? I'm Lance Gross, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Hi, this is Cheryl Lee Ralph, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, could it be any other way? Really? It's Roland Martin.
You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Hey fam, want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? The blackest show on all of digital, cable, and broadcast. Check out our audio podcast. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Press play.